And this is to me too.
Mm-hmm.
Stop thinking about like, what if it's terrible? What if people don't come? What if people don't buy it? What if people don't like it? You gotta stop thinking about that. You got, what if they do
Ooh.
like it? What if they do buy it? What if they love it? What if this is what they've been looking for? What if you holding on to it is like prolonging like what they really need? Like, and you just have to stop thinking like that and start thinking like, but what if it is right? And
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of In Real Life. And today I got my girl Mia. Long time no see. Hey girl.
Hey, how are you?
Super excited for
Yeah.
this episode because I'm sitting in the virtual presence of a genius right now.
Thank you.
I got the opportunity to sit in on one of her kind of closed rehearsals. I really
Like the
was
very
supposed to
first
be
one.
there, but the homie was a part of the show. So yeah, I met Mia through my friend Drew. He's been on the show before. And
Dude,
he was what was he? He was the stage manager,
he's the
right?
stage manager.
For the show. So it was his first time working with a live production, and
And he's
I would
phenomenal.
ask
I would
him.
I would not trade him for anyone, anything.
He was so like, oh my gosh, like, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes, right? Me being a dance is like, yes, there are long rehearsals. Yes, stuff can mess
Yeah.
up. This is why we have rehearsals. Like it's
Yeah,
the
right,
thing. It's
right.
not like, what you're used to, you messed up, you could just cut it
Edit it,
out. Yep,
cut it
edit.
out, right.
Yeah, Mia's great. She recently just got done with the tour of her live production called This Is My Brain on
Yeah.
Anxiety. So let's get
Hmm.
into the first question then.
Yeah, let's get into it.
How would you identify yourself creatively? I know that's like coming out the gate, like super deep, but her face.
Well, it's a deep question, but it's more so broad. I just want to make sure that I answer you correctly.
Mhm.
So how do I identify myself creatively? I don't know. It's so weird when people ask me about being a creative because it's so natural
Mhm.
that I'm like, no, it's just that I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else, like, that's the option to create.
Mhm.
Like there is no other option. Um, so I don't really know, how I would necessarily identify myself as a creative. I think that um all my life I've been a creator
Mhm.
of some sort. I have always like been more successful in that area of creating, even in school. Um, it's so funny, like thinking about growing up and thinking about how like over the summer, the school always encourages you to read over the summer,
Yeah.
and I would hate it. My mother would force me, but I would have 50 notebooks, 50 notepads of me just writing. And I'm talking about like this is like kindergarten, first grade. So I'm not even writing like a whole bunch of stuff, but that was just my thing. I write up everything. Um, but that's just always been like the basis for me, is always seeing things and being like, what can I do with that? Or always writing and always having my imagination being wild and the
Mhm.
possibilities, or um, that's literally always been me. I don't remember a time where I've not been like that. From my earliest memory of myself, that's what I remember. It's just like making stuff, creating stuff, like
Mhm.
playing with my dolls and creating scenarios and stuff. And I like that's what it is.
You actually answered. I was going to ask you, when did you start? But you said, it's always been a part of me. Like, I don't remember life without writing without
No, I
that.
don't. I literally remember my mom telling one of my teachers, my assistant teachers in kindergarten, over the summer. She was a Black lady and she was super amazing. And she would like get me sometimes on the weekend. Like she was just like a really like good figure. And we would go like to the movies or just hang out. She was just a good mentor figure. And I remember my mom literally telling her, she's not doing no reading, but she'll write up everything. And that's literally how it was. I was like, I don't really necessarily want to read, but if you hand me that paper, if you hand me that pen, I was gonna draw or I was gonna just write whatever.
Okay, so how did you get the concept of This Is My Brain on Anxiety? How did that come about?
I have anxiety. I'm a Black woman with anxiety. So This Is My Brain on Anxiety kind of stems from my web series. So before the live stage performance, I did 2 seasons of my show, So Anxious. And the concept of So Anxious came in 2017. And I didn't start doing anything with it until 2020, which is like the height of the pandemic. Everyone was at home. No one was doing anything. It was just I had at the beginning of 2020 started a new web podcast where I was reviewing albums, and it was just not passion for me anymore. I was not passionate. Like it became more of like work. Like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I'm very much so, if I feel like I'm like, oh, all the time, I probably shouldn't be doing it. Also, I started to become inconsistent with it. And so that's how I was like, I'm not going to do it. Either you're going to do it or you're not. And so people think this is always funny, and I think they think I'm lying when I say this, but I'm serious. Beyonce came out with Black is King in 2020. And I was uninspired and stopped the podcast, and then became inspired when I watched that. And I was like, oh, I want to create something. I want to create. And I was like, everybody's going through anxiety. My anxiety was like crazy. And I was like, maybe I should revisit This Is My Brain. I mean, revisit So Anxious. And so I didn't want to overthink it. And that was the thing too. I said, with what you have, just do it. And so literally I went and got a stabilizer for my phone. I had just got a new iPhone. Leah and Whitney. Leah, I hit her up and I said, hey, I was like, you want to shoot? What are you doing this weekend? And we shot 3 episodes. And Whitney, my manager, my now manager, but I was like, hey, what are you doing? You want to be a part of my show? I asked her for advice before I started shooting it, because I had planned on shooting it myself, which was like the dumbest idea in the world. Being in it and trying to shoot it at the same time. So stupid. And she was just like, why don't you get someone else to shoot it? And she shot a couple episodes. She starred in it, and then Leah shot the rest of the episodes. And so it really kind of sparked from that. And then I think it was maybe April of 2021. I had finished season 2, or almost finished. I hadn't quite finished. I was almost finished with season 2, putting out the episodes. And I did a poem. I wrote a poem, and I asked Whitney, hey, let's shoot it. Let's put, a nice little presentation together. Let's put it out. She was like, all right. And I was like, Whitney, and you can ask her, I was like, whatever comes from this is gonna like open doors for us. This poem, like when we do it, it's gonna open doors. And I posted the poem, and a professor of mine from App State, I literally probably have not talked to that man since I left App in 2012. And we're friends on Facebook, and he messages me and he says, hey, Mia, has anyone from App asked you to come up to talk about your So Anxious series and like dealing with anxiety as a Black woman. I loved your poem. Your poem was phenomenal. And I was like, no. And he was like, we would love for you to come up here. I would love to have you pay your way, come up and you talk about it. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? I don't know what to talk about.
What
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
supposed to
series.
say?
What am I supposed to say? Like, all that I have to say is in the web series. Like, look at the series. But I wasn't going to tell him that.
Right.
Right. You gave me the opportunity. So I was like, yeah, I would love to, let's, and, we scheduled a Zoom meeting. And I had been praying, I had been meditating because I didn't know really genuinely what I was going to go up there and do. Like, what do y'all want? And I remember that it came to me. I was reading a book. I was at a job I did not like. I was reading a book and it came. And I remember I wrote down exactly like what was in my brain, like the
Don't you love
the
that?
start of it. I love it. And I actually found the sticky note, the actual sticky note. Fairly recently I found it where I wrote like the thought, like what do you see it as? Like what is it? What it would, and I found it. And it's so crazy to see the sticky note and to see it literally have manifested and like become what was on the sticky note, an idea, and it become reality. And so I presented it to him and everything and in our Zoom meeting, and he loved the idea. And then he was like, yeah, okay, well, now this is like in May when we talked. And he's like, cool, we'll have you in like the fall semester and probably like September, October. And I'm like, that's so far. I want to get in, I want to do it like now. And I said, well, I'm going to be honest with you, Dr. Lippert. I may have done this show twice before I get to app. And he was like, that's absolutely fine with me. And then that's when I started looking into theaters here in Charlotte where I could perform it. I saw it being in a black box theater. And from there it happened. Like it literally happened. And we put on the first show August 28th, 2021.
Oh God. And I can't wait to see it for myself. I was trying to make it down there and life was just not allowing me to. But
life is life. It does.
I mean, just the meeting that I was at, just the rough draft per se, or the rough run through I was like, I need some popcorn because this is good. I cannot wait. But yeah, I know it'll be back. I just feel it.
It absolutely will.
In my
no,
spirit.
It absolutely will. We're not done. It's
okay.
Just other things have like other opportunities have come and we are definitely not missing these beautiful opportunities that are coming as a result.
Yeah, that I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. So, okay, here's another kind of deep question. So I asked you, how are you creatively? But the people want to know, what is your creative process? Like, do you have is there something that you watch or something that you hear, or does it usually just come out the blue? Like, how does it work? Do you have certain things, rituals per se, that you do, for lack of better words, that gets you into the muse? Because us being creatives, sometimes you're just not creative.
No, that's a real thing. And I don't think people understand that. I think people just think like all the time, 24/7, you're creative. Sometimes we're not inspired. That does nothing for me. I do not feel anything about this at all.
Especially with social media. Like it puts you in the mindset of like, you always need to be pumping out something. And it's like, I don't force it.
Anything. Yeah, I don't have anything. And I think that's something that I had to grow. I don't force it. I will not force it. I will not ever force it. I think I have in the past, but I've learned through writing and through creating that it comes best when it comes. Like when it comes, just be on standby. I've learned to utilize my notes in my phone. If it comes, jot it down. Like even if you don't use it, whatever, jot it down. So I keep a notepad or two in my phone. depending on what I'm carrying, I may have something where I can actually write stuff down. I'm inspired by movies and TV, and like I'm a TVer and a movier.
I like
And
you. That's
I'm
me
really
too.
inspired. Yeah, I'm gonna sit up and watch something. Like, I'm gonna watch a documentary, I'm gonna watch a series, I'm gonna watch a movie. But it's so interesting because I don't think I've ever even really paid attention to my own process. Like, if that makes sense. I just know what space, but I know that watching things is a real big trigger of mine. Waiting patiently. Usually when things get down to the wire, I know it's gonna come. Like when things get, and I know it's like I should not live on the edge like that, but that's when it comes on its own, and I don't have to fight it. I don't have to make stuff up that I don't like. I don't have something that's not going to be what it shouldn't be. It down to the wire, and then all of a sudden, and I trust that it'll come because it always has. And then there's this movie. It's super old, like 30s. I think 30s or 40s. It is called Green Pastures.
Let me write that down.
Yeah. So it's interesting because it's a Black film, and it is about it's about the Bible, like the stories of the Bible. So from a 1930s Black person's perspective, no, it is in black and white. It's old. It's old. Like, I'm telling you, but it is so inspiring, so very inspiring for me. Every time I watch it, it's something about seeing Black people come together to make this. Now it's white people a part of it because it's 1930s, and but as far as the cast, there are no white people. The whole cast, extras and everything are all Black. And it's set in New Orleans, and it's just very interesting to see Black people create like that. There's something about watching that just like moves the inside, and it's like, we create, and this is beautiful, and this is art. And also just seeing the imagination of Black people during that time, like what they thought heaven was, what they thought God was, what they thought the angels were, what they thought heaven was like. Adam and Eve, Battle of Jericho, Jesus coming. Like, it has different stories, and just to see from that perspective, Noah's Ark, them tell the stories and what that would have been like, that is very inspiring for me. So if I'm ever like completely just like, I don't understand, I'm not feeling it, I will go watch that, and it will just trigger something, and like also just make me happy that I'm a creative too. So, but I will watch that.
You are a watcher like me. That's me. For sure.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it now.
What is the most challenging part of the process for you? Do you have a challenging part? Or is it always...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Of course I do. Anyone who says there's no challenge, they're liars. The most challenging part, which I think it will grow to not be a challenge, is just trusting myself.
Why she got all my answers, y'all?
Trusting that what I'm doing is right. Trusting that what I've written is really like damn near divine. Like, God is like, nah, for real, this it. Like,
this it.
This is it. And I'm like, but are you sure? Because look how I said that. And it's like, trust that, I mean, even going back to when you were in for the rehearsal, that was the first one. That was it was the first one where we had sat around and read it and like really went through things. It was very, but even then I was like dumb nervous. I was dumb, like, oh my God, what if somebody is like, that don't make sense? That don't,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really supposed to be if somebody says something. If somebody says something, then they say it. But it's just really trusting yourself and knowing that what you've written or what you've created or what you've done or what you feel is really truly that. It is what you feel and it is what you create and it is good and it is great and it is going to get greater and you should do it and don't stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't take this opportunity or you should take this opportunity. It's just really trusting myself because now more than ever I am making very big decisions about things.
Mm-hmm.
But also like even in trusting yourself, I have a team, an incredible team that I trust as well. And so if they give input or if they're like, maybe that, maybe not, whatever, um, I don't ever take it as them trying to like criticize or like put me down or anything like that. But I trust my team so much that if my team is like that, such, I take that advice, or I consider that advice. Even if I don't take it, I literally think about it and I consider it.
Mm-hmm.
But the challenge I'd say for now for me is definitely just like trusting myself. Also memorizing so many things. But other than that, it's
Yeah. This
yeah,
this
these are
last show, I was like, when you was like, yeah, so I'm gonna be memorizing. I'm like, that's a lot that you just said, sis. That's a
I
lot.
memorize it. And then I'd be like worried about me. I'd be like, Mia, are you okay? Because you keep writing shit and you keep like having to remember. Like, stop! What are you doing?
And
Like,
I
I don't know.
like, Mia, you're choosing to do this. Like,
For
are you
real,
okay?
I really have to to be like Mia. Come on, come on, come on. You keep talking about how you don't want to memorize nothing else, yet you keep on with these new pieces. You gotta chill. So,
Okay, so on the flip side, what is the most rewarding part of the process for you?
on the flip side, literally the same thing. Seeing that I can trust myself and that I
Mm-hmm.
can, it is possible, and seeing these things that you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't. I do this thing where if I'm faced with an issue or a problem or something I'm worried about or like I don't trust myself, I look in it. I look forward in advance, and I'm like, wow, it 3 weeks from now, this is not going to be an issue. 3 weeks from now, this is going to be resolved. I'm going to know how I got through it, and like I don't know, that just kind of like has some settling in me. Like, yeah, it's a little scary right now, or you don't know right now, but 3 weeks from now, a decision would have been made and you'll be pleased with whatever decision has been made. And that makes me happy knowing that like I'm gaining this trust in myself and I am learning to trust what I feel and I'm learning to trust what I write. I'm learning to trust what I want to say. I'm learning to trust what I see in terms of like how something should be. Like this is it. Trust that's it. Because that's hard. It's tough. But when it happens and I actually see, wow, like I think seeing the first show after I finished, because it was two shows that night after the 7 p.m. show, and watching like the team is on stage and everybody's applauding. I'm like, I literally look back and I'm like, I cannot believe that I did that.
Mm-hmm.
We trusted, I trusted. When I had it inside of me to do it, I trusted that I needed to do it.
Yeah.
Like just that part. Do it. Like trust that it needs to be done. And like it's not a voice. That's not a weird voice or
It's not
you're
a
not
weird voice.
crazy. No, it's the truth. Like you have to do this, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, but just growing my trust and seeing that it has grown and that I feel like now I would take more chances on just things in general.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more fearless in certain areas where I'll be like, don't worry about it. We can, it's fine, but that's because of the trust that has kind of built up and it's still building. So that's just very rewarding to see how far the trust has come since I started. So
The Tale of Every Woman Black. What is this about? I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh snap. I read it.
Yeah, so this is I got offered the opportunity to do a residency at the last performance spot that I was at in December. So it's all February, and I was, he said, you could do anything. He said you could do your show, this more brand on anxiety, write something, whatever. I had no idea what I was going to do, and I asked him to give me a second to kind of come up with that. And then the time I did, and it was The Tale of Every Woman Black, the greatest creation known to man. And I take pride. I take a lot of pride in being a Black woman. Like, I take so much pride. I think it's so much fun. I think it's really beautiful. I think it's really dope. I wouldn't have it any other way. And so I write about Black things because I take pride in being Black. Also, those are the experiences and the things that I know about. Like one could say I'm an expert in being Black. I'm Black. I've lived a Black life. And so the show, it's actually fiction. So this is My Brain on Anxiety is nonfiction taken from a very personal, all personal accounts. I created a fiction. I stepped into a different role and kind of wanted to like open up my imagination and the possibility of something being. So it is actually tapping on the art of folklore and storytelling. And I created a story, very folklore-like, campfire, sit around, passed down from generation to generation kind of sounding story. And it is the story of every woman Black and how Black women came to be and how God created Black women. And how he created us and where we came from. And how a story, a storytelling story or a folklore or like, they all, or like an Aesop fable type thing, it always ends with some type of like moral or something at it. So just really like expanding and really tapping on that part of my creative writing and storytelling, because that's really what This Is My Brain on Anxiety is about, storytelling. I told a story. I told my very personal story. The Tale of Every Woman Black is telling the tale of every woman Black, but from a fictional folklore point of view. And it's coming. It's in February. I was like, oh, well, Black history, honoring Black women. That would be a way to do that as well. That's what it's about.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Excited to see that. A whole residency. Look at you out here.
Oh,
Oh, you know.
Trying. Oh,
we love the humility. We love it. What is next for Mia? What's next for you? Do we have any goals? Like, this is what I want to do. I saw Issa Rae posted a tweet that she made in 2010 saying that I want to be I'm very much not quoting this correctly, but I think she said something like I want to be a more successful me in the future. So and here we are years later.
Here we are. And she's that.
So are there any like specific goals that Mia has for herself creatively, or are you just one of those people that it's just like, I'm gonna just go with the flow and see where God takes me?
I think that I have before been that person who's like, I'm gonna go with the flow and see where God takes me. But then I started to understand how important it is to like really, like, if this is what you want, say that, write that, be that, become that, like, with the flow is okay, except when you get a shitty hand. Then you're mad. Don't be mad now. You said you was going with the flow. Whatever come, whatever come. Now look at you. Shit in your hand and you don't wanna, you mad now. So
Mad.
you're mad, but you can't be mad because you did not plan what you wanted and you allowed that room for anything to just happen. But I feel like this part of my life, I'm very structured in terms of like what I want. Like, I'm very clear. I don't want that. I want this. This is what this year is looking like.
Exactly.
And I think 2020 and 2021 were my first 2 years really writing down what I wanted, really being serious about what I wanted. And it's so crazy because in 2020, Whitney had, she said, she challenged me and Leah, and she said, write a letter to yourself. And then next year, before 2022, you'll read it. At the end of 2021, you'll read it to yourself. And so I wrote it, and she kept it. She had it. I could not remember what I wrote in the thing. Right? I wrote it. I sealed it, and I let it go. Like, let it go. And I read it December 31st. I read it. We all went out of town, and I sat down and I read it, and I read it to myself, and then I read it out loud. And it's just crazy to see when you get some things in order, and it's so crazy to see when you just put that energy out, and it's so crazy to see when you just write it down, like the type of power that is in it. Because when I read it, a lot of the things that I had wrote in there had happened. They were there, like I had done them. I had grown in so many ways, and so I wrote another letter, and so now every year I'm about to be writing letters.
I'm about to do
myself.
it.
No, you seriously, and then
I'm really gonna do it.
Yeah, write it and write about like what's going on now, and like what you want to do, and what and I encourage myself. I put affirmations in there. I just like all of these things that really, if you write it down and if you get serious about what you want, it'll happen. That's what you want. And as long as you're working towards those things, then the things that you've written down, or the things that you prayed about, or the things that you meditated on, they'll come, because it's like you'll meet each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote it down, and now I'm gonna start here and watch. It's just, it's like you'll meet each other there. And that's exactly what happened in that letter. I met my letter. But for this year, it's just very focused, very, I think this year, what's the time stamp on here? Put the time stamp, so when it happened.
It is January 19th, 2022.
January 19th, 2022. It is a third Wednesday.
This is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It is 7:40. And I think that this year is going to be a life-changing.
Yes, I definitely agree.
Life-changing year for me. I think like things like 2021 was definitely life-changing, but I think things that I could only, or that I have only previously dreamed about are pulling up on me this year. And I really think, I always say this to my team, to the moon. I always say that to my team, and I always put the rocket, but that's really what I mean. This, like, I really am that, and I feel it. It just feels and seems that way. Like it's really about to get like things that I have only dreamed about. I've only dreamed about them. That's the only place I've seen them, are about to be here. And that's the type of energy that I'm going with this year. Like very, very sensitive about what I think, because I noticed me and Whitney have talked about this recently. I said, Whitney, it was crazy. I said, stuff that I've been thinking about has been like popping up recently. I'm talking about even down to like texting. I would think about someone and they'll text like that. And I'm like, I said, it only makes me wonder if I can think about a text and it come up, then I can think about the bigger things and they show up to me. But it also means I have to be careful what I'm thinking, because if it's manifesting and if it's coming like that, that means the bad things can happen if I don't keep, they can pull up just that fast too. Like that's, so I'm very interested in keeping my mind on the good things and like why not things and like the bigger things. And they can be frightening, but some things are frightening, but not really. Again, it goes back to that trust in myself. Like I've done that, the show and stuff like that. I did that and I was scared as hell. If I've done that, then this shouldn't be really that scary. Like if I did that, this looks like it's doable. Yeah, so just very focused and literally trying to take over the world this year. And it is January. So when we come back here a year later, we can run this clip.
Yeah. I might just have to do a special episode where I just interview you again on the same day. I'm going to put that in my phone. So
yes, do that. And we're going to update
do that.
And I'm telling you.
We can start like a Black version of, they're doing, Vogue does this thing of Billie Eilish every year. They do the same interview every year. You should check it out. Since she like first got recognized to now, so it's 5, I think it's 5 years of it, or 4 or 5 years of it. And it's literally the same. They ask her the same questions and she looks at the footage back and she'll like reply to them.
That's so fly.
Yeah.
You should definitely do that.
I'm gonna send it to you so you can see it, but we can maybe start something like that. So you can just be
absolutely. What is it? What do we say? January 19th?
January 19th.
At 7 p.m. Next 2022.
Next year, 2023.
Yes, holla and we gonna ask the same questions.
Any last words for the people? That was your last question, friend.
I don't think. I mean, just don't be afraid. Don't listen. Don't listen to the fear. Don't. It's all bull. It's
she really talking to me right now, scary, but it's fine.
just like really, it. Like the worst thing that can happen is a no. But the best thing that can happen is your life change. And I will take a risk. I bet on my life changing, and I bet on a damn no. Like okay, it's a no. So what? Well, but like, what if it's a yes?
That's true.
What if it's like, what if it changed your life? Like we gotta like start thinking like that. Not like what if, and this is to me too. Stop thinking about like, what if it's terrible? What if people don't come? What if people don't buy it? What if people don't like it? You gotta stop thinking about that. What if they do like it? What if they do buy it? What if they love it? What if this is what they've been looking for? What if you holding on to it is like prolonging like what they really need? Like, and you just have to stop thinking like that and start thinking like, but what if it is like? And
you in my business. It's fine.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm in your business. It's to me too, if that makes it any better. It's me to me to y'all, me to Siobhan, me to
everybody.
Me to everybody. We can all get in on this.
Well, thank you so much, Mia, for
of course
accepting my request here.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all. This is another episode, season 4. It gets bigger, it gets better. And I will see y'all next time on the next episode. Peace.